Systems thinking is a profound way of seeing the world around us. It helps us to understand things much more completely, not just in pieces. We learn to see the entire whole, rather than focusing only on separate parts. This unique approach emphasizes the critical connections and relationships. These interconnections between elements create observable patterns over time. Understanding these emerging patterns is incredibly important for clarity. It allows us to make decisions and act with greater wisdom and foresight. This is fundamentally different from looking at problems in strict isolation. Ultimately, systems thinking offers a deeper, more holistic perspective on life itself. It challenges us to broaden our view and see the bigger picture. We find systems operating everywhere in our daily lives and environment. Our own human bodies are complex, interconnected biological systems. Our families function as dynamic social systems with unique interactions. Businesses and organizations are also systems with many moving parts. Even vast ecosystems in nature operate based on systemic principles. Each of these systems has various components that constantly interact. These intricate interactions are what create the overall behavior of the system. Understanding these crucial interactions is the key to understanding the system. Ignoring them often leads to unexpected and unintended negative consequences. We often try to fix individual parts in isolation, which rarely solves complex issues. A core element of systems thinking involves understanding feedback mechanisms. Our actions within a system create reactions from other parts of it. These reactions then loop back to influence our future actions and choices. There are reinforcing feedback loops that tend to amplify change within a system. There are also balancing feedback loops that work to seek and maintain stability. Identifying these different types of loops helps us understand why things happen. It helps us clearly see how persistent problems are often maintained. It also, importantly, shows us where we can intervene most effectively. This vital insight into system dynamics is often missed in simpler analytical methods. Feedback helps us learn and adapt our approaches over time. Embracing systems thinking means treating it as a fundamental discipline. Like any discipline, it requires consistent practice and dedication to develop. It involves actively cultivating new mental models about how the world works. We must consciously learn to see the subtle interdependencies all around us. We must also be willing to question our deepest assumptions about cause and effect. This is not merely an intellectual exercise or a theoretical concept. It is a practical way to approach our lives and our work more thoughtfully. It helps us shift from being merely reactive to daily events. Instead, we become more creative and proactive in shaping our future. It fosters a much deeper, more connected understanding of our complex world. Traditional analysis is a common way we try to understand problems. It often involves breaking complex problems down into smaller pieces. It looks at these individual components in a very separate manner. The underlying idea is to understand each part in thorough detail. Then, we attempt to put this understanding of the parts back together. This reductionist approach can work quite well for simple mechanical problems. For instance, if a specific part in a car engine is broken or malfunctioning, replacing that single isolated part often fixes the entire car's issue. This represents a very linear way of thinking about problems and solutions. It assumes clear, direct, and easily traceable causal links between parts. However, traditional analysis has significant limitations with complex issues. When the parts of a problem are highly interconnected and interdependent, breaking them apart for study actually loses crucial information about them. The dynamic relationships between the parts are often more important than the individual characteristics of the parts themselves. Traditional analysis can easily miss these vital dynamic interactions. It can lead to situations where fixing one part of a system unintentionally makes another part of the system significantly worse. This happens precisely because the whole system's behavior is not fully considered. It can be like trying to understand an intricate dance by studying each dancer alone. Now let us contrast this with the approach of systems thinking. Systems thinking places a strong emphasis on the relationships and patterns. It always looks at the entire whole system first as its starting point. It asks probing questions about how the components interact dynamically over time. It seeks to understand the underlying structures that truly drive behavior. Instead of dissecting and breaking things apart into smaller bits, It aims to synthesize information and see how things connect and work together. It focuses intently on the glue that holds the entire system together. This comprehensive, holistic view is absolutely essential for understanding complex systems. It helps us see why simple, isolated solutions so often fail to work. Furthermore, traditional analysis often searches for a single root cause. It assumes that for every problem, there is one primary culprit to find. Systems thinking, however, recognizes that problems often arise from multiple factors. These factors are usually interacting with each other in complex ways. These causes form intricate patterns and powerful feedback loops within the system. Therefore, solutions in systems thinking often involve changing the system's structure, or they might involve trying to influence multiple points in the system simultaneously. It is less about finding one elusive silver bullet solution to fix everything. It is more about shifting the system's overall behavior in a desired direction. This requires a fundamentally different mindset than just fixing a broken piece. Many of the world's most pressing problems are characterized by deep interconnectedness. Think about truly complex global challenges like climate change or persistent urban poverty. These kinds of wicked problems involve many different interacting variables. They also involve multiple stakeholders, who often have very different perspectives. Simple, linear solutions applied to such problems frequently fail to produce results. Worse still, they can sometimes create entirely new, unforeseen problems elsewhere. The true cause and its eventual effect are often widely separated by time and space. This inherent delay and distance make it incredibly hard to see the impact of our actions. We urgently need effective tools and methods to help us manage this complexity. Otherwise, we will continue to struggle with these significant challenges. Systems thinking provides us with valuable tools and robust frameworks. These practical tools help us to visually map out these complex interconnections. We can use helpful diagrams such as causal loop diagrams to illustrate them. These diagrams make the hidden feedback loops within a system clearly visible. They help us to understand how different parts of a system influence each other. Seeing these crucial connections allows us to identify important leverage points. Leverage points are places within a system where small, focused changes can have surprisingly significant, widespread, and lasting positive impact. Discovering and using these leverage points is a powerful aspect of systems thinking. It allows for more efficient and effective problem-solving efforts. A key strength of systems thinking is that it helps us understand unintended consequences. When we intervene in a complex system without truly understanding its dynamics, we often, quite unintentionally, create a host of new problems for ourselves. For example, a new policy designed to reduce traffic congestion in one area might inadvertently increase air pollution or shift congestion to another neighborhood. Systems thinking actively encourages us to consider these broader, wider impacts. It pushes us to think carefully about the potential long-term effects of our decisions. This capacity for foresight is absolutely crucial for developing sustainable solutions. It helps us avoid solutions that are merely quick fixes with hidden costs. We learn to anticipate ripples before they become waves. Moreover, systems thinking inherently fosters a strong learning orientation within groups. Complex problems are very rarely solved once and for all time. Instead, we need to be able to adapt and learn continuously as conditions change. Systems thinking encourages us to view our interventions as ongoing experiments. We carefully observe how the system responds to our actions and changes. We learn valuable lessons from these observations, whether expected or not. We then use this new learning to adjust and refine our approach. This iterative process of action, reflection, and adaptation is essential. It is essential for managing complex, ever-evolving dynamic challenges effectively. It helps us move beyond assigning blame to engaging in collective learning and continuous improvement. We can see many practical examples where systems thinking has offered better solutions. Consider the field of healthcare, which deals with incredibly complex human systems. Instead of just focusing on treating isolated symptoms as they appear, systems thinking in healthcare looks at a broader range of influencing factors. These include a patient's lifestyle, their community support networks, and their access to care. This holistic approach leads to more comprehensive and truly effective health interventions. In the world of business, many companies use systems thinking principles. They use it to better understand intricate supply chains and dynamic market forces. They also apply it to improve their internal organizational culture and teamwork. This helps them become more resilient, adaptive, and genuinely innovative. Another compelling example can be found in the field of urban planning. Cities are undeniably among the most complex systems created by humans. Systems thinking helps city planners understand how various urban elements interact. Elements such as transportation networks, housing availability, employment opportunities, and green spaces. This deeper understanding leads to the design of more sustainable and livable cities. Instead of pursuing isolated, disconnected development projects without coordination, planners can design integrated solutions that benefit the entire urban ecosystem. They carefully consider the long-term health and vitality of the whole urban system. This thoughtful approach helps to avoid costly mistakes down the road. It ultimately creates much better outcomes and quality of life for all residents. We should also encourage each other to adopt systems thinking for better decision-making. This applies not just to large organizations, but also to our own personal lives. It is not a tool reserved only for experts dealing with global problems. We can effectively apply its principles to our everyday personal challenges. We can use it to better understand complex family dynamics and relationships. We can also use it to more effectively manage our careers or personal health. By actively looking for underlying patterns and hidden interconnections in our lives, we can make more informed choices that align with our deeper values. We can avoid repeating the same mistakes over and over again. This conscious application leads to more intentional, meaningful, and fulfilling lives. In conclusion, the power of systems thinking is truly transformative. It helps us to see the world around us with much greater clarity. It equips us to better understand and navigate inherent complexity. It enables us to collaboratively design more effective and lasting solutions. By consciously embracing this holistic way of thinking in our lives and work, we can successfully move beyond the allure of superficial quick fixes. We can learn to address the deeper, structural root causes of persistent problems. We can become agents who create lasting, meaningful, and positive change. The ongoing journey of learning and applying systems thinking is vital. It is a journey towards deeper understanding and more purposeful, impactful action.